law. Noahide law is the law that was given to Noah after the flood. He was handed that law. They had to preserve the animals, of course, 2 by 2. And the law was that it's law number 6 or number 7, you must treat animals with dignity and respect. That's a prehistoric time.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go. So food for eating, look, I get it. Like why you make it, that's just the way it goes. Seeing that, it's not good to.
Right. Do you think eating meat has to be the way it goes?
Sorry.
Do you think eating meat has to be the way it goes?
Does it have to be the way?
Yeah. So it is how it is, right? And like I was raised eating meat 18 years of my life.
Yeah.
But does it have to be that way?
It doesn't have to be. It's a choice.
Right.
I like the taste of meat. I'll continue eating meat.
Yeah.
And I won't ever give somebody who's a vegetarian or vegan or anything like that a hard time about being that. I respect where they're coming from as well.
Yeah.
But the way that they're killing the animals, of course, is wrong. And if that's what's actually going on, then maybe they need to deal with the practices. That's bad. Like they're boiling the.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's bad shit.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't take a genius, eh?
No, but I don't eat pig anyway.
Right. But the thing is, man, the cows, the chickens, it's all the same.
I understand.
Yeah. And the practice we have now, and the practices we're showing on the screen, this is hundreds of years of reform and welfare increases, and this is the best RSPCA approved stuff we can come up with. So I guess it raises the question of, is it just killing them better, or are we trying to look for the right way to do the wrong thing? For example, man, a little thought experiment. How, if someone put a cow, gave you a cow and said, kill this cow in a compassionate way, how would you do it?
In a compassionate way, I'd put it to sleep.
Yeah, lethal injection, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay, and now I'm standing in front of you, and I'm saying, could you please kill me in a compassionate way?
Yeah.
You do the same?
I would kill you.
You wouldn't kill me at all?
No.
Why wasn't that an option for the cow?
Because we've got dominion over the animals, unfortunately, and humans are doing it the wrong way
Yeah.
in many respects. But there's no law or law of nature or any type of philosophy that says that, or maybe according to vegan philosophy, it's not right, but to most philosophies, eating meat is not a bad, it's not evil, it's the way it's done. It's pretty sick.
Right. But you said the way you would do it to a cow, you wouldn't do to me.
No, but you're not a cow.
That's right, but I am an animal.
No, you're a human being. You
Right.
have a mind that differentiates you from an animal.
Animals have brains, they have nervous
You
systems.
can reason, you can thought. A dog can't tell a cat what to do.
Yeah.
A fish can't tell a whale where to swim. I mean, they don't have that authority. We do.
We can't tell cats and whales and fish what to do either.
We can control them.
And so,
We've got to do it wisely.
right.
We have that. What do I say? We've got that responsibility actually. But
Right.
As far as eating them, look, it's just got to be done right. But this would not stop. Although it's bad, would probably not stop me from eating chicken. I'd probably just go organic or buy something else.
Yeah.
Grain fed or whatever is good for the animal.
I think it's, why would you go organic? Why would you, go free range?
Because at least I know that these animals are not being infected with pesticides. They're not being infected with things that are just going to make them grow more, so people can kill them to make more money.
Of course, they're not going to be having pesticides, steroids, maybe this stuff, but they're still going to be being raised in barns, because even free range is only 10,000 chickens per hectare, which is 1 chicken per square metre.
Yeah.
That's free range Australian standards, and at the end of their life, or somewhere in the middle of their life, when they're just old enough, kind of the equivalent of a human teenager, they will still have their throats slit, they'll still be put through an electric bath, and in the egg industry, free range, organic, humane, all the highest welfare egg practices, we still grind baby male chicks up alive. This is RSPCA approved free range egg farm.
Yeah.
Because the males, they don't lay eggs, and they're not the same breed as the chickens used for meat, so they're a waste product.
Look, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to start more with the way humans treat each other as opposed to the way humans treat animals.
For sure.
I've been to Holocaust museums. I've actually been through war zones. I've seen some horrific things that people do
Massive.
to each other. And I just think that when I say been to war zones, I don't mean when there's been a war, but I've been not long after.
Yep.
And it's, I think it starts with the way humans treat each other first, and then maybe move on to the animals.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of holes in society anyway, mate. So it's got to start somewhere. And I think people are, in many respects, pretty. They haven't learned. Humanity's been around for what 5,000 years, depending on what the philosophy is. It might be 20 billion years, whatever. But they say, they're saying that humanity's evolving, but it's gone backwards.
Man, but we have learned. I would respectfully disagree because women now have the right to vote. Now we see black people as worthy of lives, worthy of
Really?
human status.
Really?
Yeah, man. Come on, let's be real. Compared to what it was 100 years ago.
Have you been to Alabama?
No, I haven't. But yeah, I understand what you're getting at, man. But surely we can agree that we've made some kind of progress.
Not necessarily. If you just go on the news today, how many wars are happening? How many genocides are happening?
Yeah.
How many women are being raped, left, right, and centre in other countries? Maybe not Australia, but other countries, just for they might have looked at a guy the wrong way, and he may have thought, okay, well, she wants me.
Awful stuff.
So,
Yeah. Well, you said something earlier, man, if you don't mind me coming back to. We have dominion over them, correct?
we do, yeah.
I agree. These animals are pretty much harmless, and in fact, we breed them that way. Sheep, cows, chickens, we can throw them around, really do whatever we want with them.
Yeah.
A question I would ask you, though, man, is do you think that might equals right? So if we can exert dominion over
Might
something...
equals responsibility.
Exactly. And do you think this is responsible?
No, that's irresponsible, totally.
All right.
Exactly, that's irresponsible. But that still won't sway me from not eating meat.
Yeah.
I'll just now that I've seen this, I'll go to places where I know, at least, it's grain fed, it's whatever, but it won't turn me into a vegetarian.
Yeah. Well, I don't concern myself too much with labels, to be honest, man, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I haven't said a word about your actions, and nor will I until we establish our values, because I think we've got a lot in common.
Sure.
You sound like you think this is messed up, even more messed up than I thought it was when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And so our values are kind of like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And we can also kind of see that, well, welfare, free range, RSPCA approved, this is more marketing than it is actually caring for the chickens, because at the end of the day, they're in it. Exactly. So you're really switched on, clearly, man. So our values, I would say, are very, very close. Our hearts are in a very, very similar place. Now we look at our actions.
I'm still going to eat meat.
That's all right, brother. I can't change it.
I'm still going to eat meat, but I'll just be more cognizant now.
Well, do you think that your personal values are more in line with one of three things? Eating meat, but intensely farmed and pumped full of steroids, first option. Option B, eating meat, but labelled welfare, organic, free range, or eating something else.
I'm still going to eat meat, man.
Of those three things, which do you...
Sorry, mate.
Brother, I got Wog heritage.
Mate, I can't not eat meat. It's just like, no.
Listen, man, this is going to sound ridiculous. I really did used to say that.
Yeah.
I really used to say that. What was your name, sorry?
Anthony.
Anthony Sam. That's such a Wog name. Yeah.
No, I can't. A lot of people are going vegan. A lot of my friends are, but
Wow.
I won't cross over on that one.
It's just a line.
It's just a line.
But it's an arbitrary line, Anthony.
It's an arbitrary line.
It's something we've drawn, and it's something I drew for myself not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
And now look at me. I'm out on the street talking to strangers.
Yeah, it's good. Mate.
So things can change.
No, what you're doing is good.
Yeah.
It's good. No, mate, don't stop. No, keep going. But yeah, mate.
Do you think you can't stop? You think you physically couldn't stop eating meat?
Probably.
You think you'd like...
Probably, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. True.
I used to love it too, man. And listen, I still love the taste. But the thing is, we don't have to stop, really even eating meat to stop consuming dead animals. We can eat vegan meat.
No, I'm not gonna go fucking lentils and shit, man. No. It's not gonna happen.
It's not just lentils, man. We have vegan burgers right now, vegan sausages.
No.
Why not? Why so resistant, Anthony?
No, it's not something that I want to move towards. But I do respect it, and I will never say to somebody, oh, why you're a vegan or whatever. I always respect that. It's no problem. I will never take that away from somebody.
I appreciate it, Anthony. But the thing is, to these animals,
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
people's respect means nothing. To these animals, if we're saying we respect vegans, we respect vegetarians, we respect animals, cool. But if we're paying for them to be slaughtered,
Yeah.
that action speaks louder than any words we could speak.
No, I understand. See those animals there that are getting killed?
Yeah.
Well, it's a big. You again, it goes back to the way humans are being treated, and I would much rather if you guys were to actually, I'd much rather see this stand and another stand over there showing what humans are doing to each other as well, so people can actually see what they're doing in society. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Anthony. And to be honest with you, if these people over here and these people over here, and in fact that little crowd of people walking over there, if they were responsible for slaughtering billions of humans every year, I would probably be out here showing footage of those humans being slaughtered, showing people in cages. But the thing is,
you know what? We are every time we buy gas, every time we buy oil.
Anthony, but it's
every time you buy your t-shirt, my t-shirt, a poor kid probably got paid 30 cents an hour to make that.
Yeah.
Someone for this as well.
I understand, but like that's just an appeal to futility, right? If we say, oh well, nothing is moral, so therefore we shouldn't try and do anything. What kind of world will we live in?
My point is, you've got to start somewhere. You guys are starting with this. It's great. I'd prefer to start on the humanity side.
Here's the thing, but you and I, Anthony, neither of us, are responsible for consciously making a decision to harm humans.
Yes, we are. Once we know, we are.
Right, but not on purpose. Like we don't want to hurt humans. We don't intend that to happen.
Correct. Just like people don't intend to hurt the animals.
Of course, but once we are conscious, like you said, and it's so simple. See, with human rights issues, I don't want to delve too far into it, but it's kind of difficult in terms of things coming from overseas. If you're buying from one place or another, these all have flaws. But with eating animals, it's so simple. It's the body part of an animal.
Let me ask you a question. What about burning a whole forest to plant vegetables? How does that work?
Yeah, that works
You're
because
killing animals, you're killing the wildlife, you're killing the ecosystem. It's all going to shit. So where do you draw the line?
I'll answer that.
I mean, the Amazon burns
Yeah.
to a crisp. And really, it's now fertile land to grow as many vegetables as they want. Not only that, corn is now an expensive commodity because they're growing it to use it as fuel. I mean, so
I'll answer that. Why are we burning the Amazon? What is the number one reason for Amazon deforestation?
wood, food,
Food's close, but it's not as precise.
to wipe out the big
Animal agriculture.
Oh, well, that could be one of maybe 5 reasons.
It's the largest, responsible for the most Amazon deforestation of any single reason. And the thing is, it takes way more plants to raise animals and feed those animals to humans than if humans just ate the plants directly. It's quite simple principle of energy conversion, right? So if we're trying to fatten up these cows, they're not just, growing on air. We're feeding them way more plants than we would if we were just feeding those plants to humans.
So when a lion eats a deer,
Yeah.
what's that? Like they tear that thing to shreds.
Yeah. I might ask you the same question. When a lion eats its young,
Yeah.
what's that about? Why can't I eat my children? Why can't I rape
It's a deer.
other women?
No, you can't.
Exactly, because we don't base our morals on what animals do in the wild. In fact, if we did, this world would be chaos.
Well, I think a lot of people base their morals on what animals do in the wild, and that's the problem.
But you and I, Anthony, we know better than that, right?
You and I do. Do they?
These people, I think you'd be surprised. People are pretty conscious. They're pretty switched on. And the thing is, most people, when they see this, They'd say that's wrong. They wouldn't say, you know, if we were showing footage trying to speak up for women's rights, you know, if women didn't have the vote.
In Australia.
Yep. Let's say in Australia, someone would go, oh, well, you know, the female spider, you know, gets eaten or something after the mating ritual. It's because we don't, we have moral agency. Like you said, humans are different from animals. Well, the same as animals in a lot of ways, in the fact we are animals, but humans also are different from animals in a lot of ways, in the sense that we can make moral decisions, right? And that's the reason that we're not standing here with our mouths watering saying, oh, yum, I wish I had a plate of this dead animal. We're saying this is gross because it's not our instinct and it's not the wild. We have the capacity to understand suffering, which is an incredible gift.
Again, mate, I respect it, but again, I think it just starts with humans first. Once we get right with humans, we'll get right with animals.
But here's the thing, we're not, like I said, we're actually, when we go in there and purchase a chopped up piece of animal, when we could simply make a decision to buy something else, we don't need to consider animals. We don't need to be out here like I am, trying to speak out for animals. We simply need to switch what we're buying. So in fact, it doesn't take any extra effort, really.
I think the message will probably be more about, I would probably just make it more focused on animal treatment, the treatment of animals like these guys are. But the minute it goes from that to getting people to stop eating animals, then it becomes, it doesn't become their decisions, it becomes like something that's been influenced or kind of brainwashed in a way like a religion does. So I think the message is brilliant, but just be careful in the delivery.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you know, it's like you know, you go with Mormon or something, and they sort of bring it around to you going to their Mormon church, and you just got to be really careful.
I'm working on that constantly, brother, and that's why I say I'm not so interested in labels. But the thing is, we have a kind of different standard for vegans than we do for other people. If I was out here and I was showing footage of domestic violence, and I was out here saying, okay, so you or I, we don't contribute to domestic violence, but what I just did with the conversation over there, I told this guy not to beat his wife every day of the week, but to beat his wife 2 days a week. Reduce it, right? I don't want to come off as someone who's trying to, you know, bring him into a sect or cult, right? I'm careful about my message. I tell him to beat his wife still, but only a little bit.
Yeah, but beating your wife against the law is different.
You'd say, you're insane, man. You're insane. If something is violent, if something is wrong.
Beating your wife is against the law in Australia.
Yeah, for sure.
In other societies, if you showed guys beating their wives, they'd be thinking, oh yeah, all right. So it just depends where you are.
Do you think what's legal is necessarily immoral?
Well, is euthanasia moral?
I suppose it depends on the case.
I think it's completely, totally immoral.
Okay. And is it legal?
And it's legal in a lot of parts.
So you don't think that legality always lines up with morality, perhaps?
No one does. Who does?
And so if beating your wife is legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. You don't not beat your wife because it's illegal. You do it because you don't want her to suffer on your behalf.
Correct.
And I don't think you want these animals to suffer on your behalf either. I don't want to take words out of your mouth. And so the thing is, man, as hard as it might seem, and I really do understand.
It's not going to happen at all.
Listen, man, I really can't force you what to do, but I think you and I both can see here that your actions are saying one thing, and your values are saying another very similar thing that we actually connect on.
My values are saying it starts with humanity. Once humanity gets it right, I'll respect humans enough to value their opinion on what I should and shouldn't eat. Make sense?
A little bit, brother. I see where you're coming from, but if I was here beating a dog, would you walk past that and say, we're focusing on humans first?
Yeah, I'd focus on you. I wouldn't focus on the dog.
I'm the one beating the dog, but
that's right. I'd focus on you. I'd make you stop beating the dog.
you make me stop.
Yeah, correct.
Out of care for the dog, because I'm not getting harmed.
No, because you're not out of care for the dog, because I think you're fucked up.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. That's why I'll do it. Because you can't, basically. Because you're beating up your dog, you could be beating up your wife, you could be beating up a kid, you could be beating up anyone.
And that's exactly it, man. If we can teach each other to treat animals with the basic level of respect, that will bleed through to the rest of humanity.
Unfortunately, no.
You just said it to me, Anthony.
Because I know some fucked up vegans, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, I disagree.
I understand, but in the same kind of way, you said if I'm beating my dog, I could be beating my wife. I could be beating someone else.
Exactly right.
Violence is violence, and we're all animals.
Wow.
And if we're at home and in the supermarkets paying for this violence that a lot of us don't even like to watch, then how are we ever supposed to eradicate violence for humans as well?
Well, mate, I think some of the sickest minds. Put it this way: Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian. He loved his dog.
That's actually untrue.
Mate, I've got the facts, mate. I've been to the Holocaust museums. I've read about the guy.
I have also, man.
You've been to the Holocaust museums?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Adolf Hitler, his publicists, they said he was a vegetarian because they wanted him to be loved. They thought, who was someone else who was loved? They wanted him to be seen as a peace-loving guy.
So he was a piece of shit.
Exactly. They based him off Mahatma Gandhi,
Yeah.
who was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone loves Gandhi. He's seen as a symbol of peace. Let's say,
Jesus ate meat.
yeah, and maybe in a time that, who knows, maybe it was necessary for survival. But in this day and age, maybe in a time it was necessary for survival. If you think, if Jesus was in a room,
Yeah.
if we were all in a room with Jesus and there was a lamb ham
Yeah.
and, you know, a vegan meal right here,
Yeah.
do you think Jesus would say, slaughter that lamb and eat it? Or do you think he would say,
Well, it was part
go
of,
for the...
Well, they were slaughtering lambs as part of an offering.
Yeah. But
Before Jesus, actually.
but as a part of necessity, perhaps, right? And if Jesus said we could live without actually harming any of these beautiful creatures, then maybe that would be an option he would go for in today's age.
I don't know.
And we don't need to be honest, man. Like, listen, Anthony,
Look after yourself, mate. Good to
it was
meet
a
you,
pleasure
mate.
talking.
Yeah, you too, bro. Keep going.
have a good night.